conversations all the time with mothers who are stuck in a repeating pattern of feeling angry, feeling resentful, blaming someone else, or feeling really scared, terrified of loss. Loss keeps happening to them over and over again. Things that are past trauma are sticking around. And today I'm going to talk a little bit with you about why that is, how it happens, and then what is the answer? What is the solution to that? How can I break the cycle and break the pattern for me? And so here's kind of what it looks like. When you are stuck in running from your past, so let's say you grew up in a family where there was a lot of arguing, or it could be any pattern really. It could have been a lot of arguing. Let's just take that example. It's fresh on my mind. You're used to that. You grew up as a kid when adults are arguing around you or mad at you or blaming you for their own stress or tension. It happens. Then your experience of that was stored in your cells, was stored in your body. And so your experience of feeling afraid, of feeling like you're the cause, of feeling like you should be better, you should have been a good girl so that, your parents didn't get so mad, or that you should have somehow succeeded more at making the adults around you happy. All these things create patterns and programs in our brain and in our body and in our nervous system that result in us feeling frustrated, angry, super anxious in our adult life. And one of the things to know about this is that when you're conditioned to feel that way, you bring that conditioning with you into adulthood, right? You bring that with you into your every relationship you have, into marriage, into partnership, into motherhood as well. And it flows to kids. And so a lot of the people who I speak to are really successful. A lot of my clients are very, very successful, highly functional, anxious folks, highly functional, frustrated, angry folks, highly successful in their work, in their career. And a lot of the women who I help are super smart and also really sensitive and big feelers. And so obviously what that tells us is they have created some amazing coping skills through time. Amazing coping skills that have allowed them to succeed, to complete and reach their goals, to accomplish big things, to create the family of their dreams, to buy the home of their dreams, to get the graduate degree, whatever the thing is. Anxiety hasn't stopped them from doing those things, but it does pervasively come into their relationships. It does affect and impact the level of happiness that they can feel on a daily basis. Okay? So, all that being said, two of the biggest coping skills that I see in successful women who are moms who have had anxiety and been outrunning their trauma for decades. Some of these people have also been going to therapy to tell their story for decades without it being resolved. How incredibly frustrating is that? So one of the things is that one of the coping skills that people use is that pattern of avoidance. Now, raise your hand if this is you. If you like to put something out of your mind, sweep it under the rug. Something's brewing in the midst or in your mind or in your family, and you think like, I just don't want to, no, I'm not going to think about that right now. No, la. So if that's you, that's a pattern of avoidance. I don't know how to solve it, so I'm just going to tune it out. And when we tune something out, we put it over here, right? And guess what? It doesn't go away. It's that bump under the carpet. It's still here. It's still in us, in our nervous system. It's in the back of our mind. It's driving things like getting sick or lower back pain or grudges or resentment. It becomes an emotional burden that we carry. Okay? And remember, we avoid because we don't know what else to do with it. So don't beat yourself up about this one. You just don't have the answer yet. The other big coping skill that I see is numbing out. So similar to avoiding, but usually there are specific actions people take to numb out. So scrolling, it's a big one. Zoning out, taking substances, drinking half a bottle of wine. I'm just going to sort of not feel. I want to not feel. also called dissociation. I want to not feel because it's too overwhelming when I do get real about what I feel. Usually what happens is you go here and you try to feel, you get real, and then bam, you're whacked with that equivalent amount of fear when you realize, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, this is where most people are walking around. So raise your hand if this resonates for you. I want to know your experience because I want to build this talk based on what you guys have to say. So when you get to this part, really leave a comment. Let me know what are you hearing that makes sense to you. So avoidance, numbing out. Okay, alcohol, CBD gummies, whatever it is, take your pick. Scrolling, all these things people do to cope with, I don't know what to do when I hit that intersection of, I know, feel it to heal it. I've heard that. I've been to therapy. I know about allowing my feelings, or maybe you don't. This is the first you've heard of it, and that's okay too. And you're going to try it and you're going to go, I don't know what to do with that. So then there's that gap. There's that place, like that's where the work has to happen. That's where the work has to happen if you've bumped up against that place and you don't have the skills and tools to navigate through that gap across there and beyond to happiness, to joy, to laughter, to dance parties. If you are just like, that's a foreign planet I can't even imagine. A couple people I spoke to this week really were having that experience. That's just like another planet when you talk about what you want. I don't even know what that would be because I've been anxious for so long. I've been stressed out for so long. I can't even imagine feeling lighter. Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment. If you've been suffering in survival mode and struggling in survival mode for a long time, and that could be 2 years and it could be 20 years. It could be, I don't ever remember there being a time when I felt relaxed in my own skin. A lot of my clients have had that life. I always had something to be afraid of. I always had to be watching and paying attention to see that people weren't mad at me. I always had to kind of, look out for to prepare, to look out for like how to take care of me. And really the result of that in adulthood is I'm still living as if I was 7. I'm still living as if I was 3. I'm still living out the story that I don't know if I'm safe or not. And emotional safety is something when we're anxious that we cannot create for our children. Really hear that. You cannot create the emotional safety you want for your children if you have not created it inside of yourself. That is so critical to get. If you try to go, I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm present, you got your affirmations going and you're chilling out and you're trying to zen or you're meditating and your head is going ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, and your nervous system is talking to you and you don't know how to slow that down, that's going to stop you from being present. So another big point to make is if you are still living in fight or flight or a trauma response, that will prevent you from ever being present, totally present. Because anytime that you're in fight or flight mode, you're not going to also be able to be here now in this present moment. Got it? Why not? Because my body is in the past. My body thinks I'm being hunted down. My body thinks it's not safe here for me to relax. And I've been doing this a very long time. I've been a therapist and coach for moms for nearly 18 years. I am an expert at helping moms to eliminate overwhelm from their lives, to create a totally different trajectory, to love their kids deeper and wider and way beyond what they ever thought was possible without being a slave to their families, without sacrificing their own independence and freedom and happiness, but by creating more freedom. And the only way to do that is to resolve our underlying programs and patterns, you guys. You're not doing anything wrong by not getting there on your own. You have to have an expert in your corner. You have to do the work. And what we do, like in the work with my clients, is I give you the roadmap and I walk you step by step, hand in hand through this process so that you're building brick by brick this internal engine, this system that runs and supports you instead of what's happening now, which is past trauma draining the life force energy from your body. So when we have the right tools, the right person in our corner, the right roadmap, then it becomes easy. That eliminates right there 90% of the mental ping pong of overthinking and seeking answers and solutions, or trial and error attempts to feel better, to stop arguing, to be present with kids. It will be your natural state. Once you do this work, it's like you know how to show up and be the person you want to be at ease, whether that's the fun mom, whether that's the mom who starts taking great care of herself and learns how to handle that separation from kids. Some people have a hard time with that. Or whether that's becoming your most successful self and accomplishing your own goals. You know, what it inevitably always equals when we eliminate our trauma responses and patterns and upgrade that internal programming is that there is so much more love and fulfillment and connection inside of us. And then with that, it ripples out, it flows out to kids, to partners, to all the relationships in your life. They're upgraded. They're blessed by that. So speaking of upgrading ourselves, I have a date with myself right now that I'm running off to in 2 minutes, but I would love to hear your questions, your thoughts. I would love to hear your responses. There is no wrong thing to say. There is no bad question. So all my clients know that. Please, if you haven't worked with me before, show up here, post, ask questions. If you're hearing me talk and you're like, this is what I've been needing and wanting, reach out to me and I'll be happy to get on the phone with you and we can book a clarity call time to just break down and look at where are you, what's working and not working for you. What have you tried and what's missing? And then we can go from there. And if I can help you, then we'll talk strategy. Okay, so just big love. I'm so glad that you're all here. Make yourselves welcome. Ask questions. Please make use of this group. You're welcome to post. As far as this talk goes, drop your questions below, and I'll drop the link if you want to reach out and get on my calendar. Appointments are limited, so grab one as soon as you see it. And and look forward to hearing from you guys soon.